Okay, some of you may be considering unlocking Y'shtola's EX jobs, and for good reason. She has a ton of magic resistance penetration, and her power is actually at UR level, but all of her spells have casting times and her agility is quite low. She's also as frail as they come, a true glass cannon. So let's talk about why you may or may not want to EX Y'shtola, because while we have a ton of blossoms coming in right now, there's also a lot of different ways that you can power up your account. We're going to start with the new format for these videos. I'm going to put all the pros and cons up at the very start so you can check it all out. And then what I'll do is I'll put some chapters into the video bar so you can kind of navigate around where you want to listen to me talk. And if you don't want to listen to me talk, there's a big red X at the top right of your screen. You can just hit that. I'm also going to put Y'shtola's stats up on the screen so you can have a look at those if that's something that you haven't seen yet. And you can already kind of see some of the things that I was talking about. Her magic is pretty good, right? It's 12th highest in the game, and it's higher than a lot of other units, and she has both passive and active ways to buff that magic, so it can get quite high. She can also get to 100% magic resist penetration. 60% of that is innate. She just always has it through her passives, and then with her job level 25 skill or something like Garvel's TMR, she can get up to 100% magic resist penetration. She does have a way to reduce her cast time, so that's on her kit as well. You know, you can figure out how you want to do that. You know, there's TMRs too that can help you out. Unfortunately, she can't use Golbez's TMR. That would be pretty sweet. But then she also has Xenoglossy 2, which has a 220 times mod with a 40% human killer buff on the actual attack. So if you think about PvP and you think about hitting a human unit with this 220 mod, huge magic damage, their magic resist won't help at all. She has some spirit penetration. You can give her the staff and or the glasses that have spirit penetration, and then all of a sudden there's not really a tank that could stand up fully to this type of damage. That's pretty cool. That seems pretty nice. She has some accuracy on Enochian too. She has Holy on her White Mage sub, so she can hit evasion units as well. There's lots of very cool things going on here. However, when we look at the cons, she's gonna die to anything. You can see that right on the screen. She has 2076 HP. At 120. That's wild. And then you can see her agility's at 59. I actually made a mistake there. She does not have jump 4. Let's clear that up for a sec. She does not have jump 4. So it's jump 1, her mobility's low, her speed is low, and she has cast times. So she has to be able to get up to people without dying, and a cast has to finish so she can actually kill somebody, and that's really tricky to do. So that's the biggest thing here that we have to work with. She does have a 350 time potency cast time reduction, but yeah, she's gonna die to everything. Look at those resistances. You can't put, maybe if she gets auto attacked, maybe if you have some sort of crazy barrier, maybe Cecil puts a barrier on her. But we actually have seen her at this level, at this state. We've seen her taking on some pretty strong units, and that's all on Maechin's, he's a JP YouTuber, his account. He has a Y'shtola video. I'll put some clips on the screen so you can see those, of her doing some pretty big damage. And you might be wondering, how is he winning matches without her dying? Well, he's running double tanks. He's running King Mont and Wall, or King Mont and Delita, and they're both using hate up skills. They're using survivability things. They're not there to deal damage. I'll link to the video so you can watch it if you want, but basically, I mean, it shows that she's doing a ton of damage. Now, if you look at his loadout, he has maximized her magic stat and her penetration and all that kind of stuff. So, like, this is the best case scenario for her dealing damage, aside from having like an extra fire unit that has that fire unit attack up, but yes, she can deal tons of damage, but man, do you have to jump through some hoops to protect her and get her to actually do that. We can compare Y'shtola to other magic damage dealers, and I think Glaciella Regalia is an obvious choice because they're both fire damage, magic damage dealers, and then Helena is kind of a standard for how strong magic damage dealers can be, and you can see she's got more magic than them. She's got more magic resistance penetration than they do. Helena's going to have that 60% passive, but Y'shtola's got a passive. She's got an active 50% magic boost as well if you want her to use that. So there's no doubt that she can do a lot of damage. but when you look at almost every other stat, it's just a huge drop off in basically every other stat. So that's really the problem. And it's not just the stats, it's also the kit, right? Glaciella and Helena, they have instant cast spells on their kits, and they both have LBs that are instant cast as well. So they have ways to just get out some damage so that they don't, die. They also have just better resistances, better HP, so they don't die. They also, it just keeps going. They both have cast time reductions that are built into their kits, a little bit nicer than Y'shtola's is, although it's not too far off, but it is something that, it's easier to build cast time reduction for them than it is for Y'shtola. One other thing I wanted to point out is the accuracy scores that I've put on the charts for this video. So you can see we've got 171% from Y'shtola. That's just like a passive accuracy. I put her decks together, I put her luck into the calculator, and then I put that 25 Inoki into accuracy, and what you get is 171%. Now, when she's in battle, it's going to be a lot higher, but you can just compare what everybody else's innate kind of accuracy setting is. So Glaciella's is 8 points higher, and that's also with her accuracy passive equipped. And then Helena, hers is at 194, and that's her passive accuracy, but I did include equipping her with your own VC, because let's face it, when are you not going to be using that, especially when we have double VCs? I think that it's just a given that Helena's running that. So you can see kind of where they're at. If Glaciella Regalia was using the Encounter of Heroes VC, she would actually just be a little bit higher than Helena in terms of accuracy. So they're actually very comparable. And then Y'shtola is only 8 points back from Glaciella. So you can then kind of compare and say, okay, if we put the Encounter of Heroes VC on Y'shtola, she would be very comparable to Black Rose Helena in terms of accuracy. Now, she doesn't have an active accuracy buff like Helena does. That's where Helena kind of sets herself apart from these two. But in case that helps you kind of compare where they're at, I wanted to include that in this video. Okay, here we go. Should you build? You're going to have all the shards you could possibly want, more than you could possibly want for Y'shtola. So that's not a problem. You're going to have to spend things like Blossoms and Awakening Prisms and Thoughts, and that's going to be really where you have to make a decision. If you have a super powered up Fire account, then, I don't know that you're going to be wanting to build her. I really want to personally, and I'm still resisting it. Even though I love Y'shtola, I love Final Fantasy XIV, and I love Fire, I just think that there's so many units I could raise with my Blossoms. I could raise more tanks and different elements. I could, work on some MRs for cost limited content or lower that can work for PvP more, because PvP is important to me. However, if PvE is more important to you, then she's a really good option. She's got healing, she's got 100% hits, she has good damage, and she does work in cost limited content. The problem is that most of her cost limited content is PvP. And I don't think she's going to be even good in cost limited content for PvP. If you put her in limited guild battle, you'd have to protect her quite a bit, because even other MR units are going to one-shot her. And for instance, this map right now, there's no way she's making it across this map. There's just no chance. So I still don't think that she would be that good for cost limited PvP content. Now, there is a condition in which I think it would be a no-brainer to raise her, and that would be if you're a brand new player, because a brand new player doesn't really get to be that picky. You have a chance to raise someone to 120. You're going to be swimming in Blossoms as well during the anniversary as a new player catching up on content, when all the different events come back with all the different mission completions, the different shops. You're going to be swimming in Blossoms. So you can afford to raise Y'shtola to 120 and then have your first magic damage dealer, your first healer, your first whatever for PvE, PvP, and all those types of things. So that's a condition in which that I think it would be really good to build her, just go right for it. But if you are an experienced player, then I think you have to really weigh why you're doing it and make that decision yourself. However, at the end of the day, you can always do it down the road. You have all the shards again, right? Like you probably do on day one, especially if you already had her. So just wait. wait a couple of weeks, see, you know, if you'd actually still want to do it later on, because we've got units like Lock coming out for free. We've got Queen and the Persona collaboration coming out for free that you might want to 120, and there's just a ton of other units coming up as well that maybe you want to work on them, or maybe you pull an old unit that you want to raise up, or a selection quest unit or something. There's plenty of ways to spend your blossoms, so don't spend them quickly, spend them wisely. Yeah, look at that. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Again, let me know how you guys felt about this formatted video, the way that I switched it up a little bit in terms of my graphics and the organization of information, because I want to make, my goal is to make shorter, efficient, informative content that's hopefully entertaining as well. So that's my goal. If I can make a video shorter, I'm going to do that. And if you want a super long video, or if you want me to go into like builds and all that kind of stuff, like there's other content for that, other places for that. But for the should you pulls and builds and all that kind of stuff, you know, I want them to be, you know, nice and tight, just easy to access, easy to watch, because there's tons of War of the Visions content out there, and you can always go watch another video as well. So, and then while you're thinking about my content, think about supporting it by liking, subscribing, commenting on the video. Those things help me. They help the YouTube algorithm, and my goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers. So please let me help me get to that goal. I appreciate that very much. So we'll see you all in the next video.